There comes a moment in every connection with an avoidant when you suddenly see something you never noticed before. It's not in their words, because they rarely use many. It's in the tiny ways they pull back, not to hurt you, but to protect a heart that learned long ago it could not trust closeness. And the moment you understand that, everything about them begins to make sense. Avoidant partners rarely show what they truly feel, not because they don't care, but because they have learned over time to protect themselves from emotional closeness. Their heart reacts differently from most people. What looks like distance on the outside is often their way of staying safe on the inside. Behind that cool, calm, and controlled appearance is a person who quietly hopes to feel appreciated, noticed, and valued, but they do not know how to ask for it. They wait silently, hoping someone will understand them without forcing them to open up before they are ready. The right compliment does not inflate their pride. It reaches a hidden, tender place inside them, a place they have kept guarded since childhood. These compliments matter because they touch the fears they carry quietly within themselves. Fears of not being enough, fears of not being understood, fears of not being emotionally safe. Using these words with care can shift everything, because the moment an avoidant feels genuinely seen, their whole way of relating can begin to change. When you tell an avoidant you make people feel safe without trying, it touches a part of them they rarely show to anyone. Avoidants walk through life believing they are too difficult, too guarded, or too emotionally withdrawn to be truly loved. Many of them think that no matter what they do, it will never be enough for the person they care about. They assume others want emotional closeness that they cannot give, so they hold themselves back. They hide their softer moments. They build walls, not out of coldness, but out of fear that if they let someone too close, they will end up hurting more than they can handle. But the truth is different from what they believe. Avoidants do make people feel safe, even if they don't notice it. Their presence is steady. Their energy is calm. Their consistency, even if quiet, gives the people they love a sense of grounding. They may not use many words, but their actions carry weight and intention. When you say this compliment, you are giving them something they almost never hear, that their natural way of being is comforting, that their quiet strength is enough, that they offer peace without even trying. This touches them deeply because emotional safety is something they rarely had when they were young. Many avoidants grew up in unpredictable emotional environments where they learned that depending on someone could lead to disappointment. So they trained themselves to be independent, to handle everything alone, to never ask for support. No one told them that these same traits could make others feel protected and calm. When you acknowledge this quality, they feel seen without feeling exposed. You are not asking for more intimacy. You are not demanding more emotions. You are simply appreciating what is already there. This melts their walls because avoidants, despite their distance, care deeply about people they choose to let in. They worry that their presence does not matter or that they do not give enough. But when someone tells them they make others feel safe, they feel valued instead of pressured. They begin to relax. They start looking at you with new eyes. You become someone who understands their quiet language, someone who notices the small things, someone who respects their emotional pace. This compliment softens them. It encourages them to stay close rather than pull away. It builds trust because you are not praising a version of them they pretend to be. You are appreciating who they truly are. Avoidants crave this type of recognition more than they admit. It tells them you won't overwhelm them with emotional demands, you won't expect constant emotional performances, and you won't make them feel inadequate. Instead, you become someone who understands the quiet ways they show up. When an avoidant hears this, even if they do not show a visible reaction, something shifts inside them. They feel understood, respected, and accepted. For someone who constantly guards their emotional world, this feeling is rare and unforgettable. When you tell an avoidant, "I appreciate the way you show love," even when it's subtle, you speak directly to how their heart actually works. Avoidants rarely express love in the traditional ways people expect. They do not pour out their feelings often. They may not give constant reassurances. They may not say the right emotional words at the right time. They may hesitate when emotions rise. But that does not mean they don't love deeply. Their love is quiet, practical, and grounded. They show love through actions more than words. They notice what you need. They help you when you are stressed. They fix problems. They remember small details even if they never mention them. They may not say, "I miss you," but they will show up when it matters the most. And when you acknowledge this subtle love, you give them something they rarely receive: understanding. Avoidants often believe that their way of loving is not enough. They think they fall short emotionally because society teaches that love must be loud, expressive, and full of constant verbal affection. So when you appreciate their gentle, steady way of caring, it relieves the pressure they carry. You're not asking them to be someone they are not. You are appreciating the love they can give. And for avoidants, that feels like a deep exhale. This compliment also builds trust. Many avoidants have learned that if they show affection, people may expect more and more until they feel overwhelmed. So they hold back to protect themselves from that pressure. But when you say you appreciate the quiet ways they show love, they do not feel judged or evaluated. They feel accepted. You notice the parts of them they don't highlight. You value their love in its natural form. This makes them want to give more because they feel safe doing so. Deep down, avoidants want connection just as much as anyone else. They simply do not know how to do it without feeling vulnerable or exposed. When you acknowledge their subtle affection, you teach them that love does not need to be dramatic or intense to be real. It can be quiet and steady. It can be simple and meaningful. Here is the quiet truth. When an avoidant feels appreciated for their gentle way of loving, they naturally begin to open up more. They become warmer. They become more expressive. They start to share their feelings not because you pushed them, but because you made them feel safe to do so. You accepted them exactly as they are, and that safety unlocks parts of them they normally hide. When you tell an avoidant you are stronger than you think, you touch a part of them they rarely acknowledge. Avoidants often look confident, independent, and emotionally contained, but this strength is usually shaped by years of surviving emotional instability. Their resilience did not grow from being naturally tough. It came from being forced to handle things alone when no one felt safe enough to rely on. They learned to be independent because they had no choice. They learned to quiet their emotions because expressing them brought more pain. Because of this, they rarely see their own strength. To them, it is simply survival. They do not realize how much they endure without complaining. They do not see how powerful it is to carry emotional weight quietly. They do not recognize the resilience they show every day. When you tell them they are stronger than they think, you reflect a version of themselves they never allow themselves to see. This compliment touches them because avoidants secretly fear weakness more than anything. Emotional vulnerability feels dangerous, like something that could be used against them, or something that could lead to dependence on someone who might later leave. So they create a story inside themselves. I don't need anyone. I can handle everything alone. But the truth is, they are tired. They are tired of always being the one who holds everything together. They are tired of pretending nothing affects them. They are tired of acting like they do not care when they feel deeply beneath the surface. The moment you acknowledge their strength, you help them see themselves with more compassion. You show them that what they call survival is actually courage. You remind them that their quiet endurance is meaningful, and for someone who carries so much in silence, that recognition feels healing. When someone tells them they are strong, not because they hide their emotions, but because they carry so much inside, it reaches them in a way they have rarely felt before. What you are really saying is, I see what you go through even when you stay quiet about it. And that makes them feel understood without feeling exposed. They don't have to open up. They don't have to explain anything. They don't have to become vulnerable, yet they feel recognized. That recognition softens something inside them. It makes them feel safe enough to be human with you, even if only a little. For a person who has learned to cope by shutting down, this is huge. It means they can take a breath and exist without performing strength every second. This kind of compliment also creates a quiet shift. It tells them you don't see them as cold or distant. You see the strength under their silence, the courage behind their self-protection, the endurance behind their emotional distance. You are not accusing them of being heartless. You are noticing that they have carried too much for too long. Avoidants crave this kind of acknowledgement because it respects who they are without demanding more from them. It does not say, "Open up to me now." Instead, it says, "I can see you, even like this." It shows them you can accept their independence without taking it personally. You are not fighting their walls. You are simply refusing to deny their effort. When an avoidant hears these words, something inside them loosens. They feel less alone with their struggles, less misunderstood, and less pressured to pretend they are unbreakable. The constant need to be the calm one, the solid one, the one who never breaks, slowly eases. And for someone who has lived behind emotional armor, being seen without feeling threatened is one of the strongest experiences they can have. It is like someone knocking on the door, not to force it open, but to say, "I know you're in there, and I'm not going to hurt you." Their nervous system reads it as safety, not as danger. When you tell an avoidant, "I trust your decisions," you speak directly to one of their deepest hidden needs, to feel capable, reliable, and respected without being controlled or questioned. Avoidants carry a quiet fear that if someone gets too close, they will be judged, criticized, or pushed into choices they don't want to make. Many of them grew up in places where their choices were questioned, or where they had to grow up too fast and make decisions alone. Their independence is not just a preference, it is a shield that keeps them emotionally safe. They use it to protect themselves from chaos, from conflict, and from the feeling of being swallowed by another person's needs. So, when someone offers real trust in their judgment, it doesn't only validate them, it calms them. It lets them breathe again. It tells them you are not trying to manage them, fix them, or take over their life. Instead, you are giving them room to be who they are. You are saying, "I believe you can handle your own life." And for an avoidant, that kind of respect is incredibly rare. They are used to hearing that they are too distant, too cold, too unavailable. They are not used to hearing that their way of thinking things through is seen as strength instead of a flaw. Avoidants are often misunderstood as cold or distant, but the truth is, they think carefully before making decisions. They measure risks. They consider outcomes. They avoid chaos because chaos feels unsafe to their nervous system. Their careful choices are part of how they survive. When you rush them, they shut down. When you corner them, they pull away. But when you give them time and trust, they start to feel steady enough to stay. Real trust tells them they do not have to defend themselves all the time. They do not have to explain every choice to be respected. Yet, most people never notice this. People push them, doubt them, or assume they avoid things out of laziness or fear. They are told they are non-committal or immature, when in reality they are trying to protect themselves from emotional overload. But when you say you trust their decisions, it shows them you see the intention behind their actions. You respect their process. You believe they are capable. This type of validation makes them feel safe with you in a way that very few things can. Instead of feeling crowded, they feel supported. Instead of feeling judged, they feel valued. Instead of feeling like a problem to be fixed, they feel like a person who is finally understood. The more an avoidant feels trusted, the more they naturally come closer, emotionally and physically. They may start sharing small things first, a story from their day, a memory from their childhood, an opinion they usually keep to themselves. Trust allows them to lower their guard because they no longer feel the need to defend their freedom or prove themselves. They stop needing to be on watch all the time. Their body relaxes, their tone softens. They might still pull back sometimes, but they return more easily because they do not associate you with pressure and control, but with space and respect. Another reason this kind of compliment reaches them so deeply is because many avoidants grew up in situations where they needed to depend on themselves. Their caregivers may have been inconsistent, overly controlling, or emotionally unpredictable. Sometimes they had parents who were present physically but not emotionally. Sometimes they had parents who demanded perfection but did not provide comfort. Trust was not something they received freely. It was something they had to build on their own. They learned that the safest person to rely on was themselves. So when an adult finally says, "I trust your choices," it sets you apart instantly. You are not repeating the old pattern. You are offering something new. It shows them you are not here to parent them, control them, or pressure them. You are here to walk beside them, not in front of them, not behind them. Inside, they feel relief. They feel respected. And most importantly, they feel safe enough to share more of who they are. Because for an avoidant, trust is the door that leads to closeness. When you offer it without conditions, they begin to see you as someone they can finally let in. Not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, consistently, one small step at a time. When you tell an avoidant, "I notice the effort you don't talk about," you acknowledge something almost no one sees, the emotional and practical work they do quietly, without asking for credit, without expecting applause, and without showing the burden they carry. You are saying, "I see the way you show up, even when you say nothing about it." That goes right to the center of their hidden world. Avoidants often invest a lot in keeping things stable. They may work hard, take care of responsibilities, solve problems, and keep their own emotions in check so that no one else has to carry them. They are often the ones who hold everything together in silence. Most people only see what avoidants do not give, not what they do give. They see the lack of emotional language, but not the steady presence. They see the few words, but not the long nights spent thinking about what to do. They see the distance, but not the way the avoidant pays the bills, shows up on time, fixes what is broken, or stays calm when everyone else falls apart. When you say you notice the effort they never mention, you flip this script. You shine a light on their hidden contributions. You are telling them, "Your way of loving, even if it is quiet, is not invisible to me." For an avoidant, that kind of recognition is deeply moving. They do not want to be forced into emotional displays, but they do want to feel that what they do matters. This simple sentence can reach the younger part of them that once felt unseen, the child who did the right thing and still did not get noticed, the teenager who stayed strong while others fell apart, the adult who learned to carry everything alone. You are not asking them to be someone else. You are showing gratitude for who they already are. That softens their defenses more than any demand for vulnerability ever could. This kind of compliment also takes pressure off. Instead of feeling like they must explain why they are tired, withdrawn, or quiet, they feel that someone already understands that their silence does not mean they do not care. It often means they are overwhelmed by all they are holding. When you say, "I know you are doing a lot, even if you don't say it," you are giving them emotional rest. You are saying they no longer have to prove their value in a loud way. Their quiet effort is seen and appreciated. Over time, these types of words can slowly change the way an avoidant relates. Feeling seen for their strength, trusted for their decisions, and appreciated for their unseen effort creates a foundation of safety. In that safety, they may start to take small emotional risks. They might share a worry. They might admit they are tired. They might tell you a story they have never told anyone. These small steps may not look dramatic from the outside, but for them, they are huge shifts. Each time they are met with patience and respect instead of criticism and pressure, their nervous system learns that connection does not always equal danger. Avoidants do not open up because someone pushes harder. They open up when they feel they will not be punished for being honest, when they feel their independence will still be respected, and when they feel their quiet ways of loving are finally understood. Your words can become that safe place. You are strong for what you carry. I trust your decisions. I see the effort you don't talk about. These are not just nice phrases. For an avoidant, they are doors. And when those doors stay open with consistency and calm, they may eventually step through and meet you in a deeper, more authentic way than you ever expected. Avoidants rarely speak out loud about their sacrifices, their small attempts, or the private battles they fight inside themselves. They are not the kind of people who say, "Look what I did for you," or "Do you notice how hard I'm trying?" They often feel uneasy drawing attention toward their effort. Their natural instinct is to shrink their actions, soften their expressions, and quietly support from a distance where they feel safer. So when someone finally recognizes the things they do silently without being asked, it touches a very deep place inside them, a place they usually protect from the world. It tells them, "I truly see you," without demanding anything in return or putting them under pressure. Avoidants grow up believing they have to carry everything alone. They learn early on that speaking their needs or asking for reassurance may lead to disappointment, confusion, or emotional weight they are not ready for. So, as adults, they don't announce their efforts, they tuck them away, they remember what you like, they make choices that shield you from discomfort, they appear right when you need someone, they change their behavior gently to avoid causing hurt, all while refusing to claim credit. Most people overlook this kind of subtle, quiet effort. Society tends to celebrate loud gestures, dramatic apologies, and bold affection. But the emotional labor avoidants give every day is soft, invisible, and deeply intentional. So when you point out something they never bragged about, it feels like emotional air to them. It is rare, surprising, and incredibly meaningful. What makes this simple recognition powerful is that it calms one of their oldest fears, the fear of being misunderstood. Avoidants often worry that their effort is not noticed, that their love is not shining brightly enough, that they are somehow always failing to show affection in the way others expect. They won't say it, but they long for someone who can read beneath the surface, someone who understands the quieter language of their heart. When you tell an avoidant that you notice the things they never speak about, you erase that fear that their love is hidden or invisible. You make them feel appreciated without pushing them into a spotlight they deeply dislike. This moment also builds trust in a way few things can. Avoidants open only when they feel safe from judgment, free from emotional pressure, and unafraid of being criticized for how they love. By recognizing their effort gently, you show them that you are paying attention in a peaceful way. You are not demanding extra. You are valuing what already exists. This simple act of appreciation allows an avoidant to relax in a way that many people never get to see. It tells them you are emotionally aware, that you understand subtle forms of affection, and that you won't overwhelm them with unrealistic expectations. Inside, something softens. They feel relief, they feel seen, they feel understood. And because of that, They feel closer to you without feeling trapped. They become more willing to show effort and more comfortable setting down their emotional armor. For an avoidant, being seen without being exposed is one of the sweetest experiences in the world. It gives them a sense of connection that doesn't threaten their independence. When you tell an avoidant, "You don't have to be perfect for me to stay," you touch one of their deepest fears, the fear that they are never enough. Avoidants carry an inner voice that tells them they are flawed, distant, too independent, or too emotionally slow to ever be loved fully. Many believe that if someone actually saw them with all their edges, their walls, and their moments of withdrawal, that person would walk away. This fear makes them cautious. It controls their interactions. It keeps them monitoring how much of themselves they reveal so they don't risk losing someone they care about. When you reassure them that your presence is not tied to perfection, it softens the wall they built long ago. Avoidants often confuse love with performance. They judge themselves by how well they manage their feelings, how calm they stay, how consistently they show up, and how strong they appear. Any moment of emotional overwhelm or vulnerability can trigger the fear that they are disappointing you. Telling them they don't need to be perfect is like handing them permission to exist as a human being, imperfect, emotional, still learning, without risking the connection. This is one of the most freeing gifts you can offer an avoidant because it lightens a burden they have carried quietly for most of their life. This reassurance also creates intimacy in a gentle, unforced way. Avoidants are naturally careful about closeness because they fear being judged, misunderstood, or pressured into emotional spaces they don't know how to navigate. When they hear that perfection is not required, it signals that your love is stable, patient, and not based on impossible standards. They feel safe enough to lower their guard a little. They begin to open up gradually, not in dramatic ways, but in small, meaningful moments. It might be a slightly longer conversation, a deeper message, a softer tone, a small reveal about their past, or a quiet confession about what scares them. Trust grows slowly with avoidance, but words like these help that process more than people realize. This kind of reassurance also speaks to the part of them they rarely show, the vulnerable child inside who learned to protect themselves by staying quiet and pretending they didn't have needs. Avoidants often appear confident or strong, but underneath that exterior is a fear that if they show weakness, they will be abandoned. When you tell them they don't need to be perfect, you show that your love is not conditional. You're not evaluating them. You're not waiting for them to fail. You're staying even when they show their less polished side. This message helps them relax internally. They feel that their presence is enough, that their effort counts, and that they don't need to hide or overcompensate. This relief is subtle but life-changing for them. For an avoidant, being accepted for their true self, without needing to perform, impress, or hide, is a rare experience. It creates emotional safety that encourages them to stay, to grow, and to consider deeper intimacy without feeling suffocated. It invites them to participate in connection instead of running from it. In the world of avoidance, love often goes unseen not because they don't feel deeply, but because they built protective walls in their early years. The truth is, avoidants crave connection as intensely as anyone else, but the way they show and receive love is gentle, quiet, hesitant, and easily overlooked by people who expect bold expressions, compliments that touch their hidden strengths, their silent efforts, and the unique ways they care reach parts of them no surface-level praise ever can. When you acknowledge their steady nature, trust their decisions, validate their subtle expressions of care, and remind them that perfection is not required, you are doing more than encouraging them. You are creating safety. You are building connection. You are planting seeds of trust that grow slowly but strongly. These are not just words. They are tools that help open the parts of an avoidant that almost never come forward. Used with patience and sincerity, these kinds of acknowledgements allow avoidants to soften. They help them step closer. They help them stay longer. They help them feel like they are with someone who truly understands how their heart works. They show that you see them in complete form, not despite their walls, but with their walls, and understand why those walls were built. In a relationship with an avoidant, this kind of understanding is transformative. It shifts the dynamic from distance to warmth, from hesitation to connection, from fear of inadequacy to the comfort of being seen. When you speak to an avoidant heart in this gentle, emotionally aware way, you're not just offering praise, you are helping build a bond that feels steady, safe, and lasting. You're creating space where they don't have to hide, where connection doesn't feel dangerous, and where being flawed doesn't mean being unlovable. This is how avoidants begin to trust. This is how they begin to show love back. This is how they stay. And in that space of quiet understanding, the relationship becomes something softer, deeper, and more real than either person expected.